So for AWS, the prerequisite Linux basics or Linux fundamentals. Before we start Linux fundamentals, Linux basics, first why we need to learn Linux operating system. Basically, Linux is nothing but operating systems. How many types of ways we have? What are the types of operating systems?
Two types, Windows and Unix.
Yes, there are two types of ways. One is Microsoft Windows, Microsoft family. The other one is Unix family. Which are comes under Microsoft family? Windows 7, Windows 8, Windows 10, Windows 11. All this comes under Microsoft family. Any other? Windows 2012, Windows 2016, 2016, Windows 2019, 2019, Windows 2022. All this comes under Microsoft family. We also call flavors of Windows.
These are the workstations, right? Servers.
Yeah, 2012, 2016, they are server operating system.
Right. Yes.
The basic difference between Windows and Unix. Windows, everything is GUI mode, graphical user interface. Unix, everything is CLI. CLI stands command line interface. Windows is graphical, Unix is command line. What is difference between 7, 8, 10, 11, between 2012, 2016, 2019? Windows 7, Windows 8, Windows 10, all these are client operating systems. 2012, 2016, 2019, all these are server operating systems. Most of the people, they know only client. Only few people know about server OS. The laptop is a client, desktop is a client. Laptop, desktops always preferred client OS. But we want to deploy our application. Yesterday we discussed that we need a server OS, not the client OS. Gmail.com, Yahoo.com, all these are server operating systems. When we come into the Unix, which comes under Unix family, or we also call flavors of Unix. Linux, Solaris, HP Unix, IBM AX, Ubuntu, Ubuntu not Unix family, Linux family. So Solaris, HP Unix, IBM AX, 264 Unix, NCR Unix, Macintosh, AppleTalk, Digital Unix, Co-Unix, all this comes under Unix family. That is different between client and server. In Microsoft, we have client OS and we have server OS. But Unix, no client OS, only server OS. All these are server operating system. When I say Unix, Unix always server. Unix cannot be a client. Windows can be a client, Windows can be a server, but Unix always server. No client OS. Yesterday, we discussed about what is client, what is server. Client is a single user. Server is a multi-user. Client cannot share the data. Client cannot share the resources, but server can share the resources. So any application that is called, any application required credentials like gmail.com, yahoo.com, Facebook, Google Pay, Phone Pay, all these applications require credentials. Those are comes under dynamic web application. Dynamic web application, you cannot deploy on client OS, only on server OS because of multi-user. In Windows, the system name we call it as computer name. The system name we call it as computer name. Whereas Unix we call it as host name. Microsoft we call computer name, Unix we call host name. Any difference between the computer name and host name? Both are same or both are different? Anyone? Computer name, host name, both are same or both are different? Both are not same. In my lab, if I install Windows 7, Windows 8, Windows 10, my laptop is a client. Why? Because I install the client OS. In the same laptop, if I install 2012, 2019, I call my laptop as a server. Why? Because I install the server operating system. My laptop can be configured as a client. My laptop can be configured as a server based on what Microsoft family you install. Whereas if you install Unix always host. Host always server. Host cannot be a client. When I say host, it always server. For example, air hostess. What is the job of air hostess? Serves client request. Serves the client request. The host always server. Host cannot be a client. The Windows can be configured as a client. Windows can be configured as a server. But Unix always server. Unix cannot be a client. This is different between Microsoft family and Unix family. Now coming to the device driver. What's the meaning of device driver? What's the meaning of driver? A driver is a piece of software which interact with hardware devices. It's a piece of software which interact with the hardware device. Like keyboard is the hardware, mouse is the hardware, hard disk is the hardware. So you want to access any hardware devices, we need a driver that is called device driver. Device drivers are two types. One is monolithic device driver. The other one is modular device driver. Monolithic and modular. Monolithic means cannot be changed or cannot be removed or cannot be added. This is called monolith. You cannot install and you cannot uninstall. That is called monolithic. What is modular? Module can be added. Module can be removed. We can install the module. We can uninstall the module. That is difference between monolithic and modular. Can you tell any example for monolithic in mobile which cannot be uninstalled, which cannot be removed? What is monolithic in mobile? Your operating system. What is the operating system? Android. Android is what? It's an operating system. iOS. iOS stands iPhone operating system. You cannot uninstall it. You cannot remove it. That is called monolith. Modular. This comes under apps. Apps can be installed. Apps can be uninstalled. That is called modular. WhatsApp, Truecaller, all these are modular. So finally, mobile is what? Is it monolithic or modular? It is combination of both. It is not 100% monolithic, not 100% modular. It's a combination of both monolithic and modular. When you purchase mobile, it comes with the default apps like Google Chrome, YouTube, all these are default apps. You cannot uninstall it. Remaining, everything is a modular. So Windows architecture and Unix architecture. While learning Windows administration, you need to understand Windows architecture. While learning Linux administration, understand Linux architecture. While learning AWS, AWS also has architecture. So there is a hardware. Laptop is a hardware. Desktop is a hardware. On top of the hardware, we install the operating system. On top of this, we are the user. So hardware. On top of that, we install the OS. The OS we call it as kernel. Kernel, operating system, both are same. On top of the kernel, we are the user. In Microsoft, user always interact with the kernel. Kernel will interact with the hardware. What is kernel? Nothing but operating system. Android. Android is a kernel, also called OS. iOS is the kernel, also called operating system. So kernel and operating system both are same. This is Windows architecture. Unix architecture, we have the same hardware. On top of that, kernel. On top of the kernel, so hardware. On top of that, kernel. On top of the kernel, you have a shell. On top of the shell, you are the user. This is different between Windows architecture and Unix architecture. What's the difference? No shell in Windows, shell only in Unix. So what is kernel? How do you define the kernel? A kernel is the software which interacts with the hardware device. Or you can say a kernel is interface between the user and the hardware. Or you can say a kernel is the file which contains all system drivers. which are called system drivers, CPU driver, motherboard, hard disk. All this comes under system drivers. These system drivers are automatically installed at the time of installation. Every operating system has their own kernel. Every OS has their own kernel. The kernel for Linux, the name of the kernel for Linux, that is called VM Linux. VM Linux is the name of the kernel for Linux. For Solaris, the name of the kernel we call Unix. Unix is the kernel. For HP Unix, the name of the kernel we call VM Unix. For Windows, the name of the kernel is command.com and io.6. Both the files, Windows, both the files we call it as kernel. There are two files, command.com and io.6. Every operating system has their own kernel. What is command.com in Windows? How to go to command.com? Press Windows or type CMD, it go to command.com, command prompt. Type dir to see the files and folders. CLS, clear the screen. MD, make folder. CD, change folder. RD, remove folder. All these commands are in the command.com. What is command.com? Nothing but kernel. So all the commands are in the kernel. So dir, CLS, MD, make folder, RD, remove folder. All these commands are in the kernel. That is called command.com. What io.6 file contains all system drivers. How to see the system drivers? Go to device manager. All these are system drivers. You cannot uninstall it. You cannot remove it. System drivers cannot be uninstalled, cannot be removed. Hard disk driver, motherboard, processor, memory, RAM. These drivers we cannot uninstall. We cannot remove. So finally, what I mean to say, kernel always monolithic. What is the meaning of monolithic? Cannot be uninstalled, cannot be removed. Why these are called Microsoft family, flavors of Windows? For all Microsoft family, my kernel is same. Command.com, io.6. That's why we call flavors of Windows or Microsoft family. When the kernel is same, why they named as Windows 8, Windows 10, Windows 11? All these are upgrade version. We cannot uninstall the kernel, but we can upgrade the kernel. You can see in a mobile, sometimes we'll get notification, upgrade your software. Upgrade your software, nothing but we are upgrading the kernel. We can't uninstall the Android, but we can upgrade it. So that's what we call Microsoft family. When you come into the Unix, in Microsoft, user always interact with the shell and shell interact with the kernel. Kernel interact with the hardware. Whereas Unix, user cannot directly interact with the kernel. User always interact with the shell, shell interact with the kernel, and kernel will interact with the hardware. No shell in Microsoft, shell only in Unix. What is shell? How do you define the shell? While taking AWS classes also, everything I'll write in the paint that notes. It important for certification point of view, and also important for interview point of view. A shell is the command interpreter. Or you can say a shell is the interface between the user and the and the kernel. So this is called Unix. Why it is Unix? Because of CLI, command line. ls, list the files, pwd, present working directory, mkdir, make directory, cd, change directory, rmdir, remove directory. Where these commands are not in the kernel, all Unix commands are in the shell. All the commands are in the shell. That's why shell is a command interpreter. The difference between Microsoft family and Unix family. Why most of the application we always deploy in Microsoft, sorry, in Unix. Why not Windows? Because of the shell. What is the advantage of the shell? Because of shell, no virus for Unix. We never heard about virus for Unix, virus only for Microsoft. A shell is a firewall. A shell is a firewall. Any unknown program or a command which are any command or program which are unknown to the shell, those commands cannot be run, cannot be executed. That's why no virus to the kernel. So that is different between Microsoft family and Unix family. So Windows everything is graphical mode, Unix everything is command line. You take for example, cold drink. There are so many flavors in cold drink like Thumbs Up, Pepsi, Coca-Cola, and so on. Why we call flavors of cold drink? Whenever we say flavor, there should be some monolithic. What is monolithic in the cold drink which cannot be changed, which cannot be removed? That is called water. We cannot remove the water, we cannot change the water. So water is monolithic. Now what is difference between cold drink and Thumbs Up, cold drink and Pepsi? Cold drink is a trademark, a generic word. No meaning for cold drink. I should tell the flavor. No meaning for cold drink. Tell the flavor, Pepsi, Thumbs Up, Coca-Cola, and so on. So cold drink is a trademark in which there are so many flavors. So water is monolithic. You cannot uninstall, you cannot remove it. Likewise, Windows is not operating system. Windows is the trademark. Windows, we have Windows 7, Windows 8, Windows 10. How do you identify the cold drink? Is it Pepsi or Thumbs Up? By seeing the label. Without seeing the label, the color for Pepsi, Thumbs Up remains same. By label only we can identify that. How do we come to know that the laptop we have Windows 7, Windows 8, Windows 10? Go to this PC properties. Go to this PC properties, we'll come to know what Microsoft family it is. I should tell that my laptop Windows 10, Windows 11, there is no meaning for Windows. Windows is the trademark. If you are Windows administrator and looking for a job in Naukri, they clearly mention that we need Windows 2019 administrator, Windows 2022 administrator, Windows 2016 administrator. They never mention that Windows administrator. Similarly, you're looking for a job on Linux in Naukri, they clearly mention that Solaris administrators 10 to 15 years experience. HP Unix, IBM AX administrator 10 to 15 years experience. Linux administrators 1 to 5 years experience. There is no meaning for Unix. Unix is the trademark. But don't think that Unix is different, Linux is different. There is no difference between Windows and Windows 10. Both are same. Windows 10 is a flavor of Windows. Like that, Linux is the flavor of Linux. We are going to learn cloud. We are going to learn cloud. In cloud, we have AWS, we have Azure, we have GCP. So who is the cloud service provider? Amazon, Azure, Google, all these are cloud service providers. The cloud is a trademark. No company will ask that we need a cloud admin in Naukri. No meaning for that. So likewise, Unix and Linux both are same. Sometimes I call Unix, sometimes I call Linux. So don't think that both are different. Both are same. All comes under Unix family. Windows, everything is graphical. Unix, everything is command line. If at all you want to work with Microsoft family, any Microsoft family, what is the hardware component we require? Without that, we can't able to work on Windows. That is called mouse. Without mouse, we can't able to work. You want to work with Unix family, what the hardware component we require? Without that, we can't able to work on Unix. That is called keyboard. Without keyboard, we can't able to work. Mouse does not work in Linux or Unix. Only keyboard. Is it Windows or Unix? Definitely Unix. Why? Because CLI, command line. But no meaning for Unix. I should tell the flavor. Is it Linux or Solaris or AX? How to know that? Run the command you name -s. What is showing that? Linux. If it is Solaris, SunOS. If it is HP Unix, HPUX. By typing this command, we'll come to know what flavor of Unix it is. Right. So client and server. So we discussed earlier what is client, what is server. Laptop, desktops always clients. The applications always deployed on server operating system. So your clients like Windows 7, Windows 8, Windows 10, Windows 11, these are comes under client OS. Server OS are 2012, 2016, 2016, 2019, all these are server OS. When client is Windows, server also Windows. Both are Microsoft family. When both are Microsoft family, we call it as homogeneous. The meaning of homogeneous, the kernel is same. Both are Microsoft family, the kernel is same. We call it as homogeneous. If you are Windows administrator, join any MNC company with 3 years, 4 years experience, or if you go for interview on Windows platform with 3 to 4 years experience, definitely the last one question, what is your physical access? If you face same question in interview, what is your physical access? What do you tell? Anyone? If someone asks interview, what is your physical access? What is
Yeah, directly access to the physical servers.
the
And
question is
directly log in.
what is our physical access?
Directly interact with the physical machine.
You
That is
cannot
physical
you
access.
cannot directly interact with physical machines. Physical machines are somewhere on internet. You can't even see the servers.
And in this case of server, we can using the console like a physical console like
That's what my
ILO
no
and
no 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 no. Our
ILO.
our physical access always your laptop. Physical means touch and feel.
Yeah, right.
A laptop is your physical access. Tomorrow you join as Windows administrator, they'll give one laptop where Windows 10, Windows 11 is installed. But these servers are on internet, maybe AWS cloud or Azure cloud. Cloud means what? Internet. As a Windows admin, how we are going to access the server from your client OS, from your laptop. There is a software or protocol, we call it as RDP, Remote Desktop Protocol. With the help of this RDP protocol, we are able to access the server from Windows client by using RDP protocol.
Yeah, but that is the remote access. No?
Yes, remote desktop. But tomorrow, if they give the laptop, the laptop is Mac OS. The laptop is Mac OS. So Mac OS means what? Client. MacBook is a client. Or they install Ubuntu. Ubuntu Linux also workstation or a client. In that case, the laptop is a client. Just a minute. You can purchase laptop with MacBook. You can purchase laptop with Ubuntu. In that case, a laptop also a client. But servers always Linux, Red Hat Linux, CentOS. So MacBook, Ubuntu are Unix operating system. Linux also Unix operating system. Both are Unix family, also called homogeneous. The what software protocol we are going to use from Unix to Unix, that is called SSH, Secured Shell. When both are Unix, we call it as SSH, Secured Shell. But most of the cases, a laptop desktops always Windows. Windows 10, Windows 11, always Windows. But servers always Linux. Servers always Linux. This is called heterogeneous. What is the meaning of heterogeneous? Windows to Unix, Unix to Windows, we call it as heterogeneous. Windows kernel is graphical mode, Unix kernel is command line. So this is called heterogeneous. How we are going to log into the Unix server from Windows client by using third-party software that is called PuTTY. Even tomorrow when we start AWS classes practical, the servers in Linux, the Linux servers in AWS cloud will always log in through from Windows through PuTTY only. PuTTY is the software where we can communicate Linux servers from Windows client. So this is called heterogeneous. The real time will always work only in heterogeneous environment. What is front end? What is back end? Front end always Microsoft family, Windows. Back end always Unix or Linux. Unix means any flavor. What is front end? What is back end? What is your physical access? That is called front end. Front end means you are able to see that. You go to railway reservations, they will see Microsoft Windows. All laptops are Windows. Bus reservations, airlines reservations. Wherever we go, our physical access only Windows. All laptop desktops are only Windows. That is called front end. Back end means we don't know where the servers are. We can't able to see that. Generally, when you log in as ATM user with ATM card, you can see how much amount you have. Where this data is, the data is the database server. Maybe MySQL database, MS SQL database, Oracle database. The data is in the database server. The database they never preferred on Windows. Database always preferred on Unix. Because the database is backend and database installed on Linux server, that's why we call it as a backend. We can't able to see where these servers are. Why they prefer database always on Linux or Unix? Why not Windows? As we discussed earlier, Windows has virus. Unix or Linux, no virus. Windows has downtime. Unix or Linux, no downtime. What is the meaning of downtime? You are working as Windows administrator. There is some issue on the server. We are trying to resolve that issue, but the issue is not resolving. Wait for 1 day, 2 days, it's not resolving. The final solution is reboot the server. When you reboot the server in Windows, all the problems will be resolved. What is the problem if I reboot my database server, application server? When I reboot database application server, it will take 2 hours, 3 hours to up the system. 2 to 3 hours downtime to my application, 2 to 3 hours downtime to the end user. Do you remember 2-3 months back, WhatsApp is down for 1 hour? 1 year back, WhatsApp is down for 3 hours. 7 years back, Facebook is down for 5 hours. That is called downtime. If Google Pay is not working for 1-2 hours, all my customers will switch to the phone pay. They lose the business. So the advantage of AWS, why the companies always prefer AWS, the advantage is they're giving the downtime of 99.99%. What they're saying that when you deploy your application in AWS infrastructure, in cloud infrastructure, we are giving 99.99% no downtime. 99.99%, that means I think 56.23 seconds. 56.23 seconds per year. Meaning what? Less than 1 hour. It is less than 1 hour for 365 days. When you deploy your application, AWS infrastructure, your application downtime only less than 1 hour in 365 days. Because everything they are going to manage, cluster, load balancer, auto scaling, everything they are going to manage. You did not worry about downtime. Generally, in the real time, if anyone saying that I'll give 100% no downtime, it's a fake. No one can give 100%. So how this AWS saying that less than 1 hour, no downtime, that we'll discuss later. We have a concept called auto scaling. Auto scaling, load balancer. When you deploy the application in the backend, we are going to set up auto scaling and load balancer. Auto scaling nothing but whenever there is a load on the server, it automatically launch servers automatically. For example, you start up your application with 2 servers. When there is a load on the application, automatically launch one more server. Again, there is a load on the server, load on the application. It is going to launch one more server. It keep on adding more number of servers, keep on adding more number of servers. When the traffic keep on increasing, it is keep on launching more number of servers in the backend. When traffic is reducing, automatically terminate the servers based on the traffic. This is called auto scaling. As end user, we never know that how many servers in the backend AWS launched. That is called auto scaling. We have scale up and scale down. Scale up and scale down. Here we have horizontal scaling, vertical scaling. So vertical scaling means what? Increase the hardware. You launch one server with 4 GB, 4 GB and 2 CPUs. After 6 months, you found that the resources, the compute capacity for this application out of resources. If your application not performing well because of the 4 GB RAM already consumed. Then without any downtime, I can scale up my hardware. I can add two more CPUs, or I can add 8 GB RAM without any downtime. That is called vertical scaling. Scale up and scale down. Horizontal scaling. Horizontal scaling means what? Adding more number of servers based on the traffic. Adding more number of servers, that is called horizontal scaling. Like we have a load balancer. What is this load balancer? When you deploy your application won't deploy on only one physical box, on only one physical server. Your application deployed on multiple servers, more than one server. Your application deploy more than one server. If I deploy my application only one physical box, one physical server, tomorrow something happened to this physical box, my whole application will be down. So in the back end, if you configure load balancer, in the back end, your application automatically deployed. When you deploy your application, it automatically deployed on multiple servers. And we are going to configure load balancer in front of the server. We are going to configure load balancer. What the load balancer job is, it is going to distribute the traffic, distribute the load. The traffic comes first this server. If this server not responding, it forward to this server. If this server not responding, forward this to this server. That is called load balancer, which distributes your traffic. To give the 99.99% downtime means what? In the backend, these two services are up and running. So these are the services very, very important, plays key role in the real time. So assume that this is my Linux server. What is the IP address? IP space A 192, 168, 157, 169. So open the PuTTY third-party software. So I told you that When heterogeneous means what? A laptop's always Windows, servers always Unix or Linux. So how you're going to log into the Linux server from Windows client? What I required? I need IP address of the server and the credentials, login name, and password. Tomorrow, when you join an MNC company as Linux administrator, in your desk, we'll see that all the servers IP addresses, what you are maintaining, what servers you are maintaining in your desk, we can see all the IP addresses and credentials, login name, and password. So wherever the issue is, whichever the server the issue is, you have to log into the server with IP address and credentials, login name, and password. So you know the password of root account, give the password. Root logins from remote systems are by default denied. No one can log into the server as a root. Root is the administrator login name. Even tomorrow, when you log into the servers, AWS Cloud, Linux servers, AWS Cloud, through PuTTY, it won't allow root login. Root logins are by default denied. So I have to get one normal user. It's already there. Then I cannot log in as a root, log in as a normal user. Logged as a normal user, that is sent is with the password. This is real time. What is real time? No one can log in directly as a root, even the servers in AWS Cloud. In AWS, if you're logged into the Linux service, you cannot log in as a root. Then you have to log in with username called EC2-user. EC2-user is the default account in AWS Linux service. Login as EC2-user, then switch to the routing. So the servers in AWS are servers on internet. How we are going to log in? Through PuTTY. So as a cloud admin or as a Linux administrator, with nothing to bother about where the server is. We don't need to know the physical location of the server. The server could be anywhere on internet. You are giving the support to your client is in ES. Are you going to ES to give the support? Not required. This is called remote administration. So this is possible through PuTTY. Any questions? So take this picture. So next Saturday, Sunday, coming Saturday, Sunday, I'm going to take Linux fundamentals, Linux basics. I'm going to complete Linux fundamentals this coming Saturday, Sunday. After that, we're going to start AWS. Any questions? Clear, everyone?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay, guys, see you next Saturday. same time.
Thank you, sir. Thank you,
Thank
sir.
you.